Shalom, welcome. We're in Haftarah BeShalach, which is Judges 4 and 5, the story of Deborah. Who would like to read? Eileen, your hand is up. Go ahead.
Okay. U Deborah Isha ne de a
Nevi'ah.
Nevi'ah Ishat le deot
Mhm.
he shepat
Shofetah.
shofata et Yisrael ba'at
Be'et.
be'et hu
Hahi.
hahi.
Et is feminine. Ba'et. Hahi. Very good. Udvora. Isha Nevi'ah. Eshet Lapidot. He shofta et Yisrael. Ba'et. Hahi. All right, so this is how the story of Deborah begins. Udvora isha nevi'ah. A navi is a prophet. A prophetess has the feminine suffix on it. Isha is feminine. Deborah is feminine. So nevi'ah is feminine. Eshet lapidot. This is hard for translators to translate sometimes. Here, it means woman of or wife of, because Isha or Eshet, it's the same word in Hebrew. So are we trying to say that she is the wife of someone named Lapidot, or is she a woman of whatever that word Lapidot actually means in Hebrew? Does anybody have any idea what lapid means in Hebrew? It's a torch,
Yeah,
a
lamp.
torch, like a fiery torch. And so is her husband's name Lapidot, torches, or is she a woman of torches, which may be a figure of speech from the day that says she's a fiery woman?
Oh.
Who
I
knows?
think I think in my Shumash that's what it says she is.
You think that it's what?
That I think is what it says she is. A
She
fiery
is a
woman.
she is a woman of torches. She's a what fiery woman, something like that. He
Yep.
shofata. What kind of a form is this? Shofata.
I think it's a participle. I'm not sure though.
It's got it's got the holam right there. So that's telling us it's a participle. What's different about this than what we might have expected, though?
Well, I expected a
Well,
Tseri.
Yeah, exactly. Shofetet. The usual feminine singular form is shofetet, but this is shofata. Still feminine. Shofata et Yisrael. She maybe was judging Israel. Ba'et or ba'et hahi. What is the root of the word et? That's a tough question. We know there's an ein. We see the tav there.
Sometimes it's a yod at the end, but
Maybe there's a yod at the end. Maybe there's a letter at the front. Maybe there's a letter in the middle. Maybe something got doubled. And when we put it into construct form, it becomes this. Ito.
Be'ito, by his
So,
time.
okay, so that tells us that this letter is geminated. It's doubled. Why? Is it because the root is ein tav tav? Or, as Aramaic preserves it, it's ein nun tav, and the nun assimilates into the tav as a strong dagesh. Maybe, but we certainly don't see any indication of what could be missing in this lexical form, this construct. Wait. No, it's absolute, this absolute form. But as soon as we get a suffix form, that dagesh shows up, we go, aha, And then you can compare cognates from a different language like Aramaic, if that would help. Okay, questions on this before we go to the next verse to read?
So in
And-
light of those two different routes, which is the most likely?
Because this is attested in Aramaic, that's the only positive evidence we have for what the root probably is. If it happened to be Ein Tav Tav, we would never know.
All right.
So in the end, it's an exercise in futility. It really doesn't make a difference. But what I'm trying to teach is the ability to surmise what the root of a word is so that you can cross-check it with maybe a verbal form or another Semitic language.
All right. And Aramaic, does that also mean time?
Yeah. Yeah, it has to do
Okay.
with it has to do with time.
Thank you.
Let's see. Anatoly, would you like to read?
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Behi יושבת תחת תומר דבורה בין חרמה ובין בית אל בחר אפרים ויעלו אליך
Mhm.
בני ישראל למשפט.
Excellent reading. V'hi yoshevet tachat tomer dvora בין הרמה ובין בית אל בהר אפרים. ויעלו אליה בני ישראל למשפט. Okay, where are Ben Harama Ben Beit El? Where is Beit El? Is what story in the Bible tells
Abraham.
us about the location of Beit El?
The story of Abraham, where he sacrificed for the first time when he came to the land.
That was Mount
And when he
Moriah.
came back from Egypt, he went back to his first love and repented for lying
Wait,
there.
hang on a second. Isn't Beit El from the
Mhm.
story of Jacob, the place
Also.
that was formerly named Luz?
Yeah,
Luz,
I don't know why
okay.
then they call it Beit El, maybe because it was written later. But
It
I just
was
read about Abraham going back there after his escapade in Egypt, where he sold
okay.
out his wife.
Wait a minute.
I thought Jacob comes much later.
Yeah. Well, like you say, sometimes things are named after the fact.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
How do you get Bethel out of El?
No. Bet
But
El.
Bet is that house?
Yes, Bet is house, and then El, God, house of God, Bet El.
That's more like it. So how do you get Bethel?
The TH sound instead of the T sound? Is that what you mean?
Well, if it's in the house of God, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you get Bethel?
Okay. Beth
Sorry.
El.
Sorry. But I'm thinking Beth, El, house of God. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Dyslexia. All right.
But this is in the hill of Ephraim. Bethel is in Ephraim? I don't know. I didn't think that it was that far north. I don't know. I assume it's the same Bethel, Bet El. ויעלו אליך בני ישראל למשפט. What letter is missing in that prefix?
Nun? No.
Not a nun. It's a bit of a loaded question because there are two correct answers. What I'm referring
Took your
to,
language.
what I'm referring to is either a missing definite article hey,
Ah.
or what's missing from that double dagesh. That's a very tough question. Speculation says it was probably an original lamed, but we don't talk about that. And what I meant to say was le plus ha creates the la. So this is a combination of the preposition le and the definite article ha. Laha becomes la. All right, this is pretty straightforward. This is narrative, what we're reading. Oh, this is a long one. Who wants to read a long one? Elizabeth, do you have your hand up? Do you want to read?
Yes, I'd love to.
All right, go ahead. And then Annie, you'll get the next one.
ותשלח ותקרא לברק בן אבינועם מקדש נפתלי ותאמר אליו הלא צבא אדוני אלוהי ישראל לך ומשך.
Here, split it right here.
Okay. ומשכת. ומשכת
Mm-hmm.
בהר תבור ולקחת עמך 10,000 איש מבני נפתלי ומבני זבולון.
Zvulun. Very good. And what's the difference between umashachta and umashachta? What's the difference between velakachta and velakachta?
Stress.
The stress
stress,
is different. Good. But what is it? What's the difference in meaning when you put the stress there?
Vegetal, if it's the ultimate.
Right. If it's on the last syllable, if it's on the ultima, if the stress is on the ultima, that tells us that we're looking at a vekatal, which is an incompleted, usually future tense. So Deborah is telling Barak, lech. What kind of a word is lech?
imperative,
Imperative. That's a command form. It's technically an incompleted action, right? It's telling you to do something that hasn't happened yet. Umashachta, go. And you drew blah, 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 something, something. No, it has to be vekatal. So make sure to put the stress on the end. Lech umashachta bahar tavor. Help me break up this big, long verse into chunks based on the cantillation marks. Anyone?
Not, but Naphtali.
Okay, Naphtali, that's the halfway point because of the etnach or etnachta.
Tishlach is a short one.
Avinoam is one right there because of the katon right there. Okay, I missed one. What did you all say?
At the beginning, Vatishlach after the first word, but then again after imcha, 3 lines down. Imcha, there's another via.
Yeah.
You guys can draw on the screen too, right?
Israel also
Bible or
No, draw there. No, draw that. No. It's like, turn on your pen. Come on, you can draw. Okay, so there's a review. Okay, next one. There looks like another one, right? Oh, Tavor.
Tavor.
Jumping all around. Where's Tavor? Mount Tabor. Because of the Katon.
Naphtali.
Ish. Naphtali.
Naphtali is third last word.
Third to last word, Naphtali. Because of the Tipacha. I'll go ahead and include the last one because of the Siluk. Any others?
Yes. Vatum Eliav.
Elav. Very good. What is this? Not Pashta. What is it called?
Not Garish.
Munaga or something?
Yeah, this one right here. Is it Gerish? Yeah, Gerish. Very good. Gerish. All right. Vatomer elav. And there has to be a break here because now we're going to start with dialogue, quoted speech. Okay, I think there's one more.
Israel.
Israel.
Yeah, if we've got a Rivi'i here and a Rivi'i here, then we'll take that one too, with the Rivi'i. And all right, I think that's all of them, or at least that's all the major ones. So now we've taken this big long verse and broken it up into smaller bites. Vatishlach, and she sent. Vatikra leVarak ben Avinoam, and she called to Barak the son of Avinoam. What are the two words that comprise? What are the two parts of
My
how do I say
father,
this?
Abi.
Thank
My
you.
father, Abi.
Avi is
Others.
father or
Naam.
my father, and
No,
Noam
Pleasant.
Noam.
he's
pleasant.
nice.
Yeah, pleasant. So it might be this chirik here might be possessive. What else might it be besides possessive? I don't know what else it could be besides possessive. What about it if it were an ancient case ending? That would make it genitive, father of pleasantness. Okay, so it could be my father, noun pleasant. You're just putting two nouns next to each other. My father, pleasant, or it's father of pleasantness. And Mikedem Naphtali is where he's from. Vatomer elav, make sure the stress is right there. Vatomer elav, and she said to him, Halot tziva Adonai Elohei Yisrael. What binyan is tziva?
PL.
Yeah.
El.
It's about
Lech. What's root? What is the root of
Allah.
Allah,
lech?
Allah,
Halach.
Allah.
Yeah, halach,
Halach.
missing hey. Umashachta bahal tavor. And you will, what's the literal meaning? Not drawing like drawing a picture, but drawing in the sense of
Water.
pulling something. So you
Like
could
Moshe.
pull a yeah, well, almost. That's drawing from the water, specifically Moshe. But the root mashach means to pull. So in modern Hebrew, lehamshich is causing to pull through. It's continuing.
huh.
It's like, okay, ladies and
Wow.
gentlemen, do you want to continue now? Efshar lehamshich,
Lamshich.
lehamshich, and it means causing to pull through, continuing. But yeah, to pull. My guess is the idea is pulling to himself all of the warriors as he makes his way to the battlefield, but drawing him and everybody else to the battlefield. Vilakachta immacha, and you shall take with you. Take what? Well, that's in the next line. Aseret alafim ish. What gender is alafim?
Yeah, masculine.
Masculine.
What gender
Masculine.
is aseret?
Feminine.
Oh,
Feminine.
no, it's still masculine.
It's still masculine. Very good. Numbers are the weird nouns or the near whatever. I don't even know if you can categorize them as nouns or adjectives or what they are. They're a category all their own, but they're the weird ones because they will have a tav or a feminine hey on the, I say feminine hey. It has what looks like a feminine hey or a feminine tav on the masculine numbers and no feminine hey or tav on the feminine ones. So frustrating. Nobody really knows exactly why that happens. There's a theory that there used to be some sort of a qualifier that came after numbers that started with the letter tav, and it was somehow confused as a suffix and became what looks like a feminine tav. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe it isn't. I wasn't there. Aseret alafim, that's a big number. That's more than one. Ish. Uh-oh. Shouldn't that be in the plural? I thought ish was singular.
There are some nouns like that in Hebrew where a pluralized singular looking becomes plural with ends with a certain number.
How about this? If the number is greater than 10, if it's 10 or greater, Hebrew consistently allows usage of the singular.
Hmm.
So as long as it's 2 to 9, you have to use the plural form. If it's 10 or greater, Hebrew's okay with using the singular. I guess they think we're smart enough. It's like, well, look, the number is bigger. It's a really big number. I think you know it's plural. Mi b'nei Naphtali o mi b'nei Zvulun.
Right, okay. So what's the significance of Mount Tabor?
What is the significance of Mount Tabor? I know it's New Testament significance, but I don't remember its significance in the Hebrew Bible.
Well,
I
it's
don't
just
know.
a case of why would you want to go to Mount Tabor, right? That's the question, really.
Well,
If
because
you're going to
maybe
take
that's
10,000, if you're going to take 10,000 men, why go to Mount Tabor particularly? Could be any old mountain.
probably because that's where Sisera's going to bring his army.
And also
Right, but
being
it's
higher is a vantage point.
Yeah, it's kind of a mountain out all by itself.
Mhm.
Got a pretty
Yeah.
good viewpoint from there.
Yeah, it's a vantage point.
In fact, I
I
would
know
say
it.
it's suspiciously big. It's like, how did that mountain get there? It's just like
Good question.
it's just like it hanging out in the middle of nowhere. It's almost like it's
It mu-
artificial.
Like
Yeah.
a big
must have
cow.
it must have had, maybe in agricultural terms, it must have had some significance as being a focal point for something.
I have a cool book. I'm not going to pull it out right now, but I have a really cool book from Carta Publishing called The Sacred Bridge. And I'll show it. I don't know if you can see it on the screen. Nope. Tell you what, let me put it like this. Oh, wow. I need a bigger desk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone needs a bigger desk.
don't we
Yeah.
all?
Let me see if I can turn on my camera here. Here, I'm going to stop share for a second and start the share on my secondary camera. Let's see, not this one. That's my other camera. Not that one. Please work, please work, please work, please work. I don't see anything. Why don't I see anything? I think what is it? It's plugged in. Let's try again.
Yeah, we can see it too over here.
Not that one. Not that one. Come on, you can do it. All right. It looks like it's not going to happen. So I'm going to try something kind of goofy. And
Green screen.
yeah, I'm trying to. You got to be kidding me. It just will not do it. Okay.
Copyright.
There it is.
Aha.
Oh,
Ha.
Uh-huh.
Sacred Bridge.
Sacred
There
Bridge.
we go. The
Bridge.
Sacred
Yay!
Bridge, Carter's
It was
Atlas of the
very
Biblical
good.
World. It's not very big
Big.
as far as thick goes, but it's very big in the sense of like its sheer size. I mean, is that bigger than an 8.5 by 11?
A4,
Yeah.
bigger than A4.
Yeah, that's probably a touch bigger than A4. I mean, that's pretty cool. Let me see if I can get a good page. Nope, that's not a good page. Let's get a good page. Good page.
Oh my goodness.
There we go. Yeah, it's not working. Okay. Well, I tried. Anyway, so what I would do is I would look in a book like that for Mount Tabor and see what kind of significance it has. And where's my mouse? There it is. Okay, so let's cancel this and start the portion. There we go. So great question. I don't know the answer, but that's the kind of a resource I would look into. William, what about, oh, you weren't around when I suggested this. There's a website that you can go on and
Yeah.
type in the passage of the Bible, and it will show you we want to do the opposite. You type in the location, and then it gives you all the passages in the Bible about it. What was the name of that website? Something like
Good question.
Open Maps, Free Maps, Biblical Maps, something like that. I shared it on the Telegram group. So if I don't want to take the time right now to do it, but I would definitely encourage you guys to use that kind of a tool for what I call the character in the Bible that is least spoken of, the geography of the Bible. Actually, I borrowed that from one of my coworkers. So I don't know the answer to that question, but now you have some options for how to look it up. Who's going to read next? Annie, right? Annie?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, all right. ומשכתי אליך אל נחל קישון את ספרה
Try again.
סיסרא
Sisera.
שר צבא יביא
Mhm.
ואת רכבו ואת חמונו ונתתיהו בידיך.
Very good. Excellent. Umashachti elecha el nachal. Well, let's put that right there. El nachal kishon et Sisera. How do I know this is an audible mobile schwa?
There's a long vowel before it.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a mater, but it's a long vowel.
Yeah, this is a long or lengthened vowel. Long vowels, unless they're stressed, have an audible schwa after them. Sisera. So that's why in English we say Sisera. Sal tzva yavin ve'et richbo ve'et hamono. What's the root of hamono?
Haman.
Like Haman?
Vav nun.
Hey, what?
I was going to say mem vav nun.
Memnon.
I'm looking for 3 root letters.
I'm guessing, but
Mm.
Haman.
Yod that turns into hey. Hama. So the verbal root hama is to like bustle, like crowd, bustling, something like that. And from it we get the noun hamon. Now, because there's a vav here, we could speculate that the root was probably originally hey mem vav, which then turns into hey mem yod. And then most of the time we don't see the yod. So when we look it up in the dictionary, we look under hey mem hey, because that's
So
a
why
mater.
did they decide on a noon at the end?
Well, the noon on the end is part of the pattern of the word. Think of well, there are other words that end with a noon like that. Nachshon, shulchan, well, pitaron. That's not really a good comparison, but the point is that it's part of the pattern of the word.
Okay, thank you.
And it turns it into a noun. Unetatihu biyadecha. Unetatihu. This is preserving more of the original suffix, the hu 3ms suffix. What would this look like in later biblical Hebrew?
Natati.
What I mean to say is the suffix on the end, the 3ms suffix. Okay, O is used for, well, actually, you know what? Fair. I'm going to say yes. O is what we expect, right? But not in this particular instance. There's a yod in front of it. What would it look like?
Natativ?
Yeah, unetativ, like that. And then the yod just kind of quiesces. Well, don't say it quiesces. There's still a chirik yod sound. Okay, yeah. Unetativ is what we would expect, but here we have the original form unetatihu. I like this because the missing hey right there is the exact same phenomenon that happens with what I mentioned at the beginning of the lesson. Le plus ha becomes missing hey, la. Well, here's another example of a missing hey because it's simply a silent letter. Well, not say silent. It's a feeble letter that gets swallowed up. And
So what's
right.
the root?
Of natativ? Or what do you mean?
Yes. Yes.
Natan. Natan. There's a strong
Natan.
dagesh in the tav, missing nun. The root is natan, to give. And I will give or deliver who, him. Beyadecha, into your hand.
One more question. Did you say that hama, that verb, the verb, when it's a noun, that's when you have the noon being part of the pattern?
Yeah, the pattern would be, let's see, what would the pattern be? Let's put in the kuftet lamed. What would it look like? It would look like this. It would be either ktalon or katlon. I don't know which one this is because the yod at the end messes everything up. Let me see. Nachshon, rak, kash, kash. Okay, it's hopefully it's a patach, but I don't know off the top of my head. It's part of the pattern of the word. The original would have been a kamatz right here, that because of the Canaanite shift turns into a holom. We have, for example, another word, shulchan, which is a table, where the kamatz did not turn into an O vowel. But then other words, like nachshon, which would have originally been nachshan, but the Canaanite shift turns it into an O sound. So that means that would argue for this pattern right here, katlon. Can anybody think? Oh, how do you say shalom in Arabic?
Salem.
Salam.
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 Been
There's a
saying it
long
wrong.
ah sound. The Arabic language did not suffer from the Canaanite shift. So it still preserves a long ah. So that means that tells us that in Hebrew, the word for shalom was probably original or shalam, or probably something like a shalom, but nobody pronounces it like that anymore. But that sound, it's pronounced in the same place where D is pronounced. Da da da, sha sha sha. That might be closer to the original sheen sound. That's why Arabic turns it into sa, and Hebrew turns it into something crazy, sha. But salam, shalom, this had the Canaanite shift, so it becomes shalom.
Could you please explain just a little Canaanite shift?
Canaanite shift is where historically long ah vowels, think kamats, turned into an O sound. Nobody has done a perfect job of describing exactly how that in what places that shift takes place, but the vast majority of the time it's in either obviously an open unstressed syllable or a closed stressed syllable. Oh, how about this? Shalat. What is this verb?
Shalat.
Shalat. No? Okay. Shalat is to
Shalat.
rule. To rule. To like a ruler or a government official, something like that. He ruled. Shalat. In Hebrew, what is the participle?
Sholet.
Sholet. Good. In Aramaic, the participle would be shalit. So we can see this is the Canaanite shift, and tsere and yod are both, they're both the same quality of, E and I vowels are historically related. And so we can see that this is a cognate, an Aramaic cognate of the Hebrew word sholet. And in fact, the vowels appear to be more original. Hebrew is the one that turned the chirik into a tzere and the kamatz into a cholam. So Canaanite shift occurs in the Canaanite languages, which includes Hebrew, but it doesn't affect northern, eastern, or southern Aramaic languages. I mean, Semitic languages.
It has the story with Shebolet and Sibolet.
That would be that would be another dialectic difference between the tribes. That also tells us that the seen, the sheen, however it was pronounced, was difficult enough that certain people in certain tribes couldn't pronounce it, so they pronounced it more like a samech.
45,000 people were killed for this
terrible
mispronunciation.
Well, no, they were killed because they were from Ephraim. They just used that mispronunciation to identify them. Imagine the one guy that got out is the one who didn't have a speech impediment. Sorry, not a funny matter. Okay, who wants to read next?
Before you move on, just a wonder here. Mount Tabor, that wouldn't be kind of a crossroads or something like that for a trade route, would it? Therefore, making it very important.
I can't do this now.
That's all right.
I'm not going to pull out the sacred bridge.
No. It was just a thought that came to us when I was talking about different tribes, different coming to a specific point.
I wish I knew the answer. I wish I knew the answer, and I'm going to find out just as soon as this class is over.
All right. Well, I'll not pipe up about it. Pardon?
Didn't the trade route go along the coast?
Well, I mean, there are multiple roads, but yes, in general, the bustling traffic took place on the coast and then cut across where Mount Carmel is.
Yeah.
There's another one that goes up through modern Jordan. In general, the mountainous or hilly area in the middle where Judea and where Israel was, and was not really heavily traveled. So I don't think it would be along a trade route, but I'd love to see what roads go through there.
All right. Sorry about that. Sorry.
Let's see. 3 people want to read. Cheryl, go ahead.
Okay. ויאמר אליה ברק, אם תלכי עמי והלכתי, ואם לא, תלכי עמי לא אלך.
Excellent. All right, so this is a Vayiktol, Vayomer. This is a
Yiktol?
It's a Yiktol.
Just a Yiktol. And this one is a
Vekatal?
Good. How can you tell? We don't have a stress over here like we would have expected. Why not?
It's pausal.
It's with the Yiktol.
Knock.
It's with the Yiktol. Oh, because this is a Yiktol, we can infer that this must be a Vekatal. Okay, I like that. Another answer, it's a pausal form. We can tell it's pausal for 2 reasons, because of the etnach and because of the kamatz. If it weren't pausal, what would that kamatz be? Patach. Very good. So the vowel lengthened under the pausal form, and it's more important to have a pausal form than it is to have a vekatal shift in the stress. Good. The imlo telchi, there's another
Yiktol.
Lo elech.
Oy.
Another Yiktol. If you do not go with me, then I will not go. So he's got cold feet. And he's like, look, if you, Miss Fiery Lady, popular, everybody knows you, prophetess, judge, if you come with me, that way if I lose, I can, shout at you, you'll be there. I don't know. I don't know what the reason is that he wanted to do that, but apparently he didn't have complete perfect faith or faithfulness. And so he doesn't want to go unless she goes.
Was not the time of the judges actually more, the judges be more better named as military commanders? There was
No.
something, there was something about that. The
I would-
judges were,
Look, the judges are okay. I see where you're going with it. Like the judges are the ones that save the people from the enemies, and they judge the people according to the Bible. So if you have someone like Samson, he was a judge. If you have someone like uh the bread roll rolling down the hill, Gideon, he was a military commander and he was a judge. There are a couple of smaller names. What was it, like Othniel, I think was a judge. We don't know much about him.
Deborah.
Deborah was a judge. Let's think of other examples of judges and whether they were also military commanders. I don't think that Deborah was a military commander, but she definitely judged the people. And Samson, I'm not really sure that he judged the people, but he definitely took some military actions by
well, the
what do you
reason
mean?
why I say that, the word judge, we have the idea of someone sitting at a table and he's got the gavel and he's saying pa pa pa.
Right.
But it was a case that these times are kind of strange, and it would be a case that to judge or actually come under military type rule.
Oh, you mean like martial law?
Something like that.
Okay. Well, I would definitely agree that the misconception of the gavel falling is not what the Hebrew Bible has in mind, but it does still have a certain authority in the sense that the people come to her and say, "Hey, we have an issue, a question, a dispute. Can you please help us out here?" And whatever she decides goes. So in that sense, she judges, but it's judging in the sense of making decisions as opposed to, throwing the book at someone.
So what you're saying in effect was it's rather like Moses and his other people who are in charge of
right.
Thousands, hundreds, and tens. They kind of oversaw.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Elton, would you like to read? Elton, turn your mic on. Do you want to read?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. ותאמר הלוך אלך עמך אפס כי לא תחיה תפארתך על הדרך אשר אתה הולך כי ביד אישה ימכור אדוני את סיסרא ותחם דבורה ותלך עם ברח קדשה.
Kedsha. The siluk is right there, so it's Kedsha.
Yeah, I thought continuing. So.
Let's see. Could you read this once again?
Which one?
The one I've got the box around.
Okay. Imkor.
Good, very good. And read this one.
Vatacham.
Mataka, no problem.
Matako.
You can see because of the cantillation mark that the stress goes here. That leaves you with a closed and unstressed syllable. So this is actually that pesky kamatz katan, and with the O sound. Do you want to try again?
Vatakom.
Vatakom. Dvora vatelech. Stress right there. Vatelech im barak kedsha. What is this kamatz hey doing at the end of the word? Anyone?
Locative. Hey.
Directional hey.
Yeah, directional, locative. And so it's going towards Kedesh or Kedj. Vatomer haloch elech imach. Form?
Infinitive absolute.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Adding certainty or emphasis to this verb. Haloch elech. Walking, I will walk. Going, I will go. Imach. Wait, I thought that was a feminine suffix. Is she talking to Barak using the wrong suffix? She doesn't have the correct pronoun. Come on, that was kind of funny, right?
Well, yeah, it's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
But he's being kind of
Paso?
girly, I figure, so she's feminizing it.
Is that
Yeah,
Paso?
because it's not
Pausal.
puzzle, is it? Because that's
Well,
sort of,
because of the
it's not
Rivier.
a
I mean, the
big
Rivier
puzzle.
is probably, you're right. Rivier is probably the smallest or the least disjuncting cantillation mark that pausal forms will still appear on. And so based on the fact that she is speaking to him, I would say this pausal is the best way to explain it. Imacha is the usual form we would expect, and in pausal it should have been imacha, but now that this is an unstressed open syllable, it drops to schwa. Brilliant. Imach. Ephes kilo. Ephes. What's the number Ephes?
0.
0, but that's not the meaning here, is it? Ephes has a meaning all of its own before it ever becomes a number. Some other numbers had a meaning. In fact, I would argue most all of them had a meaning of their own before they became numbers. Let me think. What's the original meaning of the root sheva?
Seven.
Oath.
And your oath.
Seven.
7.
Making an oath. And what's the original meaning of the number echad or achat?
1. Yeah. Or me.
Together.
Unity,
Yachad.
together, exactly. Yeah, this was probably an original yod, yachad, meaning togetherness. Let's see. Oh, what was the original meaning of hamesh? Hamesh. Remember that the
Warriors?
people of Israel say again?
It's something to do with like warriors or
Nice. Okay, so remember when Israel came out of Egypt during the Exodus, they came out hamush. Hamush.
Defeated?
No. They came out
Hamosh.
armed.
Hamosh.
Armed.
I don't know why I'm thinking it's like a bomb in modern Hebrew.
Okay. So
Like a grenade.
okay. Hamesh or Hamush or Hamash has something to do with being armed or some sort of the theory goes that you have one guy in charge and 4 guys that do what he says. So it's a military unit. And so Hamush comes to mean armed. Let's see. What else do we have? Tesha. Apparently the word Tesha has something to do with just shy of completeness. And I don't know. I don't think Shana is the root of Shnayim. Does anybody know?
That's year.
Okay,
Year.
Shana. A Shana is a year, but what's the verb Shana? Shone.
like change.
To differ?
Change, different. There's also lishanot. Wait, lishan. No, that's lishanen.
That's to change.
Okay,
something.
lishanot is to change something. So it's showing distinction between one thing and another, hence two. There's another one, lishanen, I think, that the word
sharpen.
mishnah comes from, and it has to do with repeating something, repetition, like saying it more than once, maybe. Anyway, so back to that. Every number appears to have had a meaning before it became a number. Ephes ki, nevertheless, lo tiye tif'artecha. Okay, pa'al is wonder or something that's hard to believe, I guess. So tiferet, honor. No, am I saying that wrong? Pele. Pele. Oh, I'm thinking of Pele. Pele is something wondrous. This is Pa'al, honor,
Yeah.
glory. Okay. Tif'altecha,
Tif'al.
your honor, your glory. Al haderech asher ata holech. כי ביד אישה ימכור אדוני את סיסרה. Yimkor. I wouldn't have suspected a verse to have this kind. Excuse me. I wouldn't have expected this kind of verb to sell.
But it makes you think that there's a reward for what you do. Like the Lord is going to sell that honor to you for doing the honorable thing. That's sort of how I interpreted that.
Okay. Yimkor. Wait a second. So where's the subject of Yimkor?
Adonai.
Adonai. What's the object?
And the glory. The glory is the object.
Et.
Et Sisera.
Direct definite direct object marker et. That's the object, right? The Lord will sell Sisera. Biyad isha, in or into the hand of a woman. So he will almost, to me, it almost sounds like betray, like somebody sold you out or sold Sisera out. Vatakom dvora, and she arose, Deborah did. Vatelech, and she went in Barak Kedsha, towards Kedesh with Barak. Questions?
I think it. Having read the passage the other day, I think the whole story is kind of remarkable.
Sure.
That that Deborah had such command in what I understood to be more a male-dominated area.
Right. There's a big question mark there.
But I know the woman's in charge of the house, but it's a case that but it was a case she held so much sway. That's what I'm trying to say. But also,
apparently, she's the one who's receiving insights from God, right? So she's got.
I understand, but it was a case that right at the very end, the twist in the tail is when an ally of Sisera kills him.
Right, exactly.
She
saw the winds of change.
That to me is remarkable.
Yael felt the winds of change, and she's like, "Yeah, this is the right thing to do."
Okay.
Let's see, Anatoly, would you like to read the next verse?
Yeah, thank you. All right. Okay. Vayazek Barak et Zebulon be'et Naphtali Ketsha Vaya'ad Birag
The font here is a little hard to see, I guess. Vaya'al.
Vaya'al. Okay, very good. I'm very glad. Eseret al alfei ish beta'al imo. Bata'al imo. Deborah.
Dvora. Very good.
Deborah.
Let's see. Vayazek. What binyan is Vayazek?
Vayiktor.
The form is a Vayiktor. What binyan is it?
Did he feel?
Refill.
How do you know?
Patach.
Patach is a primary indicator, and then either an E or I vowel right here is the secondary indicator. Very good. So causing Zain Ein Kuf. What is Za'ak?
Like a cry.
A cry, a shout. I'm trying to remember what the word for a siren is. Is it not Zaka? What is it? It's from this root though. Something that shouts and cries out. And Vayazek Barak et Zvulun. He caused crying out. From the context,
It would be lehezek. Is it one of those he feels that's not really a causative? You can make them into a causative somehow.
Yeah,
but...
my argument would be if we go back in time far enough, the meaning should have originally been causative, and then later on it turns into less causative. But that's the way I see it. If we can make it fit a causative voice, we should. Et Zvulun ve'et Naftali kedsha, towards Kedesh, vaya'al beraglav, and he went beraglav, at his feet.
No, I think the Ya'al is the Aseret Elef Ish.
Okay, this is plural, and this is singular.
Yeah, but Ish is a singular word, and I think it's relating to Ish.
Okay. All right.
That's
I'm not going to argue with that.
Okay.
I'm not going to argue with that. Okay, so the point that Cheryl's making is that this is singular. I can write singular. There we go. This is singular. So therefore, each man, maybe we would think about it that way. Each man of this Aseret Alfei Ish went up beraglav, at his feet, following him referring back to Barak. Vata'al, that's feminine, right? Vata'al imo dvora. So she is the one doing that action. Very good.
There's an interesting thought with that came to mind, and that is the men went up individually. They were free men. They were tribal men, but they weren't.
Why would a man want to do that? Why would free men want to go up and fight?
Because they believe in the cause. It's a different thing than being a bondman. A bondman has to fight, but a free man can go freely.
Right.
Stay free.
And stay free.
Call me
It's a right, to put it another way, it's a righteous cause that everyone would actually rally to.
All right, so we could think about it like this. Deborah is there, and everyone's like, oh, well, Deborah's there. This is a righteous cause. Let's do it. The cynic in me might say, let's go to battle so we can get the booty and get rich quick.
I don't think that's the theme. I don't think
peer pressure. Peer pressure. That happens a lot in war too.
Peer pressure. Who wants to read next? Elizabeth, would you like to read?
No, nobody else wants to have a turn.
It's all right. Even if they want to, you have your hand up. Go right ahead.
Okay. והחבר הקני נפרד מקין מבני חובב חותן משה ויית אכלו Ohalu.
Ohel. Right. There should have been a silent schwa here, but there's a guttural. So it took an O flavored reduced vowel to let you know that it's vowel harmonizing with a kamatz katan O flavored short vowel.
So both are O sounds?
Yeah, because the word ohel should have an O sound on it. So when we lose the holam, we're still going to have the O sound, just a shorter one because it's unstressed. Ohel becomes oholo.
Oholo. Ad elon.
Now here we have ktiv kre. We have the written versus what's written versus what's supposed to be read. Which one is written and which one is supposed to be read?
The second one is supposed to be read and the first is written?
Let's see. But I don't remember which one it is. I would assume that this one is the way you're supposed to read it, and this is the way that it's written, but I could be wrong.
I think they normally go in that order.
Okay.
The original first and then the pronunciation, right?
But to be clear, this is a notation with the square brackets and the parentheses. This is a notation used in digital versions of the Hebrew Bible. It does not appear
Uh-huh.
in in the scrolls in a printed I mean it'll show up in a printed copy, but I'm just saying in a scroll it won't show up like that, but rather it will say at the end of the column, somewhere over here, oh, by the way, blah blah blah, this should be read this way, and those are the notes of the Masorah. But yeah, this is the digital. Oh, I'm sorry, you haven't finished reading. Read the last line, please.
Okay. I'll go for the second one, I guess. Naim? Nanim?
Yeah, I think so. B'tzananim.
B'tzananim asher et kedesh.
I'm just noticing that the vowel pointing matches this one over here. So now I'm wondering if I should change my answer. What if this is the Ktiv and that's the Kaveh, because this matches what I assume what would have been the Septuagint pronunciation, maybe. Anyway, Asher et Kedesh. Is this the direct object marker?
No, it's with. It's a preposition.
Wait, what?
What? Okay, so et comes from two different roots. We have et in the form of like oto, and then we have et in the form of ito. Their dictionary lexical forms look the same. Either et with a tsere when it stands alone, or et with a segol when it's makef hyphenated onto the next word. They both look the same, but in the suffixed form, oto versus ito. This one has a chirik, this one has a dagesh. They come from different roots. This one is the direct object marker, and this one is the preposition with. It's not the preposition im, which is also a with. The difference between et and im. Anyone remember the difference between the two? One of them is being next to, whereas the other one is interacting with.
So would im be the one that's interacting with?
Yeah, I think so.
Uh-huh.
I think so. So et simply means positionally located next to or with, whereas im would be interaction. Wait a second. Wait a second. What about when Enoch hitalech et Elohim?
With the Lord, yeah.
Huh. Was it because he was positionally next to the Lord? I don't know. Maybe maybe that's not maybe there are exceptions to that rule.
So
all right.
how would you differentiate that between the two?
Context. Look, if there's a predominant suffix on there, you can see a difference. If there's not, then the only way you can tell is from context. Now look here at the position.
There's no subject nearby.
Right.
To do the action.
There's
verb
also
and there's
no
no
verb.
subject.
Yeah, there's also no verb. So if we don't have a verb in a Hebrew sentence, and this should be a complete sentence because it's in a share clause. If we don't have a verb in a Hebrew sentence, what is the implied verb?
To be.
Some form of to be. Is, was, were, will be. So something is et kedesh. Well, we can't is something. I just is my lunch today. What does that even mean? No, it's not transitive verb, right? So if is not a transitive verb, if the implied verb is not transitive, then this has to be option 2. Et, with, beside.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, if you see an et showing up with a verb that does not take an object, like I mentioned, Enoch walking with God. The Hebrew is hit halech. Well, hang on a second. What binyan is hit halech?
Hitpael.
Hitspell.
L.
Right? Hit pa'el, which generally tells us that this verb is
Reciprocal.
okay, either reciprocal.
Or like a repetitive action.
That would be PL.
Can
Oh,
be
okay.
reflexive
Hit
or
oh, there we go. Reflexive.
Corresponding.
Reflexive.
Corresponding.
Inflexive, yeah.
Oh, reciprocal.
And the other one, reflexive or what's the other one I'm looking for? Sometimes hit pa'el can be used for a passive, like for example, if the pot is coming to a boil, you use a hit pa'el to talk about how the pot is boiling within itself or something like that. So it can, so it can have something of a passive sound to it, but hit pa'el not usually. Nifal, on the other hand, is the punk of the group because it can be all three of those. And my point was, if you ever happen to see an et next to a nifal or a hit pa'el or a pu'al or a hufal, something that can't take a direct object, then it must be with. Use context. Vayet, what's the root?
Because there's a hay on it somewhere, maybe at the end. Or a yod.
Is it Nata?
You got it.
There's a dot under the yud. Does that give us something?
The dot under the yod is a strong dagesh from the vayiktol. And so that tells us one, that it's a vayiktol, and then the yod tells us that it's a 3ms. As far as the root goes, we only have one single solitary letter. And vayiktols typically like to apocopate. They'll lose a syllable. They take the shortened form of the verb if possible. They drop off a mater letter. So if we're missing a mater letter, it's probably this one over here, which tells us there's probably a third weak root letter yod. Now, if we saw this verb in a different form, like in the yiktol form, it would be hang on a second, but yet it would be yita.
Nifal then.
Not nifal. The dagesh simply tells you that there's a letter missing. That's the noon of the root. So the full form should have been yin. Well, historically, it should have been yintayi, something like this. But this root letter assimilated into there, and this one dropped off, leaving a hey, which lengthened the preceding vowel. Oh, so that's a doubly weak root. Can you all think of another doubly weak root?
To be.
Naha.
To be, is it doubly weak? There's
no, I think
yod.
it's just one letter missing.
Okay. How about
Natan?
Okay, Natan can have two weaknesses. I see where you're going with that. In certain forms, this noon goes missing, and in certain forms, this noon goes missing. When do we see both? When do we not see either of those noons?
Infinitive.
The infinitive. Yeah, la tête. In that form, we only have one root letter, that one. Okay. And how about haka?
Yeah.
Anyone remember what the meaning of haka is?
To hit or strike.
Just to hit or strike. Yeah, to hit or strike. So for example, in the vayiktol, it would be vayach.
Yach.
Like this. Vayach.
What about halach?
Halach only has a troublesome hey that sometimes turns into a yod or vav. That's not doubly weak. What about lehodot? Hodeh or hodah.
Oh, it's from Yada.
Not yada.
Dot.
And yada
It's to know.
it has a dalet
Oh,
and an ayin. The only thing that's weak would be the yod at the front. What's this one? Hoda. Hoda is related to the word toda.
Thank
oh,
you.
Toda.
thank you.
Thank you. Ooh, what about lehora, lehorot, hora? From this, we get the word Torah,
Torah.
Or,
To teach.
instruction. Yeah,
Mhm.
oh,
Torah is to teach. All right, next. Oh,
Before you move on, why isn't there a dagesh in Vayat?
it's the
For
last.
the
It's the last letter of the word.
Yeah.
Typically, there's not going to be a dagesh in the last letter of the word. Hang
all
on a
right,
second. Hang on. Let me reword that. There is never a strong dagesh in the last letter of the word. I happen to know this because of my project that I recently completed, and every dagesh that shows up at the end of the word is a weak dagesh, with the exception. I know I'm not even going to call that an exception. Remember in the priestly blessing, vichuneka.
Mm-hmm.
So it ends with a kaf, but that dagesh is not the last consonant. It's not the last sound of the word, right? The ah is the last sound of the word. And what about the word at? Is that a strong
Ati?
dagesh?
Yeah.
No.
No. Yeah, it has to be strong. It's following a vowel. It can't be. It's
We have
it's
conflicting rules here, don't we?
Yes.
One rule says that if the dagesh follows a vowel, it's strong. It's a forte, doubling dagesh. And another rule says that shva at the end of the word is silent.
Silent.
So dagesh on a silent shva has to be weak. So we have conflicting rules. Which one is it? It's a false dichotomy. It's a false dilemma. Turns out it's neither. It's not, you can't say it's either one or the other. And we have to go back in time
Ati.
to see the original form of the word. There it is. Man, my aleph looks terrible. Let's fix that.
X.
Yeah, it looks like an X, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Anti. So in the word anti, we see the weak nun that assimilated into the tav. Later, ati still has a strong dagesh, but then later on, the dialect of the Hebrew people dropped off the chirik yod. Ironically, Aramaic did something different, similar but different. It messed with the second person masculine singular form. What was originally ata? Excuse me, let me try that again. Anta. In fact, I'm not even going to write the hey on it yet. And anta turns into Hebrew ata, and then Aramaic turns it into at. So Aramaic has masculine singular at. Hebrew has feminine singular at. But it's the same progression where one of the two pronouns was shortened, and that final vowel was simply lopped off. All right, cute little verse here. Who's going to read next?
Anastasia did have her hand up a while ago. I don't know if she's
Anastasia, do you want to read?
She's back.
I can't hear you yet.
Uh-oh.
No, you're coming through very, very, very quietly. I'm not sure what's happening. Are you as close to the microphone as you can be? Very, very quiet, but go ahead. I would suggest going into your audio settings and see if you can up the volume or use the what's the setting? Automatic volume, something like automatic volume level setting. See if you can find that. I'm going to let Voldane read first, and if you can get it worked out, then you'll read the next one. Go ahead, Voldane.
Vayagidu Grace Sisra Ki Allah Barak Ben Avi Noam Har Tabor.
Not a whole lot to talk about in this verse, I suppose. Vayagidu l'sisra ki ala Barak ben Avinoam har tavor. Anyone want to venture a guess as to who the explicit subject of Vayagidu might be?
Is Barak dead?
Well, the hang on, Barak is the one that's going. Okay, hang on a second. Vayagidu l'sisara. What did they tell Sisera? Ki gives us the content, right? Ki gives us content. They told him that, here's the content, here it comes. Ala Barak ben Avinoam har tavo. This is the content. So Barak has gone up is what they told him. Probably not Barak telling him. Maybe it's his posse, maybe it's his generals, maybe it's someone who's in the know. The Hebrew doesn't have an explicit subject for this verb. We're simply supposed to, it's the, what do you call it? Not the understood, the understood they, or the impersonal, that's what it is, the impersonal they. And it's essentially it's a way of speaking in a passive way without using the passive. Okay. It was told to Sisera. We do this my children do this all the time. Hey, do they make a tool that I'm like, they who? They who? It's an impersonal they. Hebrew does the same thing. Ala Barak ben Avinoam how tavor. Okay, Anastasia, is your
I don't see her there.
Oh dear.
I think it's a Zoom issue. I wanted to ask you,
Okay.
because this will solve it. Am I too loud? Am I very loud when
No.
I'm speaking?
I don't think so.
Okay, because there is in the Zoom settings, you can adjust your volume apparently.
Right.
So maybe that's the issue, but I will talk to her after this
Can
is
you hear
over.
me well?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay.
Oh, you sound great now. That's wonderful. It was probably a Zoom issue. All right. Would you like to read the next verse?
Yeah,
All right,
I'd
go
like
ahead. Hannah or Anastasia?
Hannah,
Hannah.
if you don't mind, Hannah, yeah.
בסדר.
ויזק סיסרא את כל רכבו 900 רכב ברזל, ואת כל העם אשר איתו מחרושת הגויים אל נחל קישון.
Perfect. Vayazek Sisera. Okay, so first we see Barak doing this action of Vayazek. Now we see Sisera doing the same thing. And instead of calling Naphtali and Zvulun, he's calling Et Kol Richbo. Each or all of his, or each chair. Okay, yeah, because this is singular, English requires that this be each or each and every one of his chariots, even though that's technically singular. Cha me'ot rechev. In modern Hebrew, we pronounce this as cha. Tisha becomes cha me'ot. even though technically it should be Tisha Me'ot. That's hard to say. Rechev Barzel, iron, chariots of iron. Ve'et kol ha'am, and all of the people, asher ito. All right, is this direct object marker or with? Well, you already know the answer. It says with, but why? How do you know? Because of the chirik and the dagesh. Chirik and dagesh. מאות מחרושת. חרושת, הגויים אל נחל קישון. נחל קישון. Okay. I don't really know what to say about this. I think we've kind of covered a lot of territory today. Had we enough time, we could get into the Song of Deborah. But, you know, spoiler alert, Yael is going to nail it. She's going to take care of Sisera. And then there's this Song of Deborah and praising it, which appears to be in an archaic Hebrew poetic genre, which is really fun.
There was one thing about that final story when he got nailed. When he went down to sleep, he said, if there's anyone comes asking for a man, there's no man here. And I thought to myself, well, that's no behavior for a king.
Well, he wasn't a king.
There is no man here, and it's a case the woman would turn and say,
right. Sisera was the general. But the point is, it wasn't a very noble move. One of my colleagues mentioned, yeah, there was no man in there. After she gave him his milk and blankie, he was a baby. He was asleep in the tent.
There was no alive man in there when someone came anyway.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Oh my goodness.
Can I just mention that Sam put in the chat that link for the Bible mapper.
Thank you, Sam. Did you look on there? Let's see, where is it? Right here.
Copy link.
Sam had to leave, right? Okay.
Yeah, he's
Bible
not here,
mapper,
but yeah, he did do that.
BibleMapper.com/web. That's fantastic. Yeah, it's a great tool. I would love for everybody to check it out and use it to the best of your ability. It's a great resource. All right, it's about that time. I encourage you all to continue reading through the rest of this Haftarah portion. But our time here is over. Look forward to seeing you all not next week. I'm going to be out of town next week. So in 2 weeks. Until then, lehitrot v'shalom.
Toda.
Shalom.
Toda.
Thank you so much.
B'vakasha.